We're live. Hi everyone, it's Gina, and I'm back with day 13 of Create with Gina. Just give everybody just a few seconds to come in while I get all of my papers together. Alright, so today we're going to be creating what I call a tree of strength. And I'm going to go through several options on how it can be done. But first, what exactly is a tree of strength? Well, basically it's just a symbolism of different things that you consider to be things that hold you together, things that are like personal strengths, maybe things that keep you grounded. So these could be like coping strategies that help you through challenging times. So this is basically going to be a symbolism that's going to help you to get through this particular period that we're going through right now. So to get this done, you will need your arm and your hand. It's going to be a really simple way of drawing it, and you'll need just a sheet of paper, just a regular sheet of paper, and a pencil or a pen or a marker that you can use to trace. All right, so what you're going to do is simply you're going to take your hand, your arm, maybe down to here, and you're going to place it on your sheet of paper, and you're going to trace part of your arm as well as your fingers, but you're going to leave the fingertips empty. You're not going to trace around, you're just going to trace up a section and come in, leaving the fingertips empty. I'm hoping that you can see that. So that's the first thing that you will do. And you're going to do part of your arm because that is going to become the trunk for your tree. And then this part here is going to become the canopy, so to speak. Okay, so that is step one. The second step is going to be extending branches from where your fingers would have been. And the reason that I did it this way rather than actually have you draw a particular tree is because I think it helps with connection. You're basically taking a part of your body, and it's going to become a symbolism of strength for you as well. So when you look at it, you realize that this is part of your arm, that's part of your hand, but it's becoming so much more as you go through the whole process. So you're extending branches out from where the fingers are. So that would be step 2. Right? Now step 3, and I'm going to give you 2, maybe 3 options for this particular part. Step 3 will be where you draw leaves on to fill out the canopy, and we're going to talk about how many in a minute. So you're going to draw some leaves on. That's one option. The next option is you could simply paint the leaves and then allow them to dry. And then we'll go on to the next process, the next step. What I chose to do was, that's just as an example. What I chose to do is I painted a bunch of leaves using some watercolor brushes that I have. And then once these are dry, I will cut them out and I will go on from there. Please forgive the noise downstairs. There are a lot of people in the apartment downstairs, and they're a little loud, so I apologize for the noise. So this is what I chose to do, just some really light coloring or brushing with the watercolor markers, watercolor paint brushes, and then I'm going to allow that to dry completely before I cut them out, and then I can simply glue them onto my tree. I could simply glue them on. I could also just glue them onto the areas here as well. All right, so now that you've done that, what are you going to do with it? How is it going to become a symbolism for you? On each leaf, you are going to write one thing that actually helps you to get through challenging times. And the challenging time doesn't necessarily have to be this coronavirus period that we're going through, although that is a huge challenge for the planet, basically. So we're all experiencing the challenges from that. But it could be just the different challenges that you have of, maybe you're being bullied at school. What are the different things that actually help you to overcome what you're experiencing as far as the bullying is concerned? And it could be anything. You can talk about personal strengths that help you to get through this, the different challenges. What about your personal achievements that could also help you to get through? And I'm going to give you some examples of this as well. What about different coping strategies that you may already have, and maybe different activities that you already love to do that may help you to get through challenging times. So as far as personal strengths are concerned, some of the things that I wrote down are empathy. Maybe you adjust easily to different situations, so it's not as challenging. Maybe it's very easy for you to see the issue and come up quite quickly with a possible solution and be able to move through it. Maybe that's something that is easy for you to do. Resilience. I know with all of the different challenges that I've had to go through, from illness and more, I've had to be really resilient. I know that if resilience was not one of my strengths, I probably would still be extremely sick like I was 4 years ago. But I had different ways of coping with the illness, as well as moving past the illness with a lot of different therapies that I've used. All right, so what about different personal achievements? Maybe some of those have helped. Coping strategies could include things like exercise, visualization, actually picturing yourself in an improved state while you're still in the challenging state that you're going through. So being able to visualize a better outcome. Things like meditation, that's a coping strategy for me. Yoga, I also use yoga, dancing, various forms of exercise. Reading the Bible is also one of the, that is a huge coping strategy for me, actually, my spiritual practice. And there are different mantras that I'll also say, which help me to kind of move through and kind of brings my mind back to the present. And I'll give you a couple examples of what I'm talking about as far as the mantras are concerned. There's a simple one: I choose to believe that everything is working out for my highest good. You can say that again. I choose to believe that everything is working out for my highest good. Very, very simple. Could be, you could come up with your very own that will help you to move through a particular situation. Or if you find yourself in a spot where it's just hard to cope, and there's a mantra that you like to use, go ahead and just repeat that to yourself as many times as you need to. So that's a particular coping strategy for me. What about different activities that you might love to do? Yoga, I love to paint. I love to do all different kinds of crafting. I create perfumes. So sometimes if I'm going through something, actually, let me show you this. This particular, and I'm sure I've mentioned this before, this is probably my most worked with perfume, and this is the activation one. And there are times when I might have a little difficulty breathing because the pollen is so high right now, and all I do is just take a sniff of this, and it literally just opens up my lungs, and So this is, instead of panicking whenever I cannot breathe, I know that I can reach for this and I can just take a couple inhales and it literally just works to open up my lungs. So that's another, that's not something that helps me whenever I'm having trouble breathing. So if you do have high anxiety, maybe you have a particular perfume that you love to use. And there are lots of different essential oils that are also helpful with anxiety. So maybe that's another video that I could do. Share with you a few essential oils that you could have on hand that will help you whenever the anxiety kind of raises itself. So what you're going to do is, on each leaf, coming back to the leaves, on each leaf, you are simply going to write different things that you consider to be strengths for you. You're going to fill in each leaf. So the leaves are going to be big enough for you to actually write something in there. Those are going to be the things that that bring you strength. Now for the trunk is basically like a support system. So you could use the trunk and think of people, maybe people who you can go to in times whenever you are having some struggles, and maybe you could write those names into the trunk of the tree. And for those of you who are watching, thank you for being here, and please feel free to just leave a comment in the comment section below just to say hi. So on the trunk section, you could put in maybe names of people that you consider to be part of your support system. And you could go even further and add in some roots. What are things that keep you grounded? Maybe you could add those along, write those in the root section of your tree. So I remember whenever I was going through black belt training, but I remember being a white belt, and the symbolism of the pine tree is what we started out with, just this tiny little pine tree. And as a white belt, it basically meant, all of the potential that we have, right? And as we went up in rank in the color of our belts, that pine tree also grew and took on a different symbolism with each particular level that we got. By the time we got to black belt and I earned my black belt, that tree was now tall and strong and had a solid trunk, and it, filled out at the top, and basically represented everything that we had learned on our journey from white belt to becoming a black belt. But it also symbolized that we still had so much to learn, that black belt was basically just the beginning of learning, really. So the tree symbolism is meaningful on so many different levels. So that's the reason why I wanted to use that for today. Now, if you're at home with children, you can have your kids do this one by themselves, or maybe you want to create something on a larger scale. And I actually have, let's see if you can see it. This is a huge canvas board. So if you have a huge piece of paper, maybe butcher paper or something, you wanted to create something larger with the whole family, then you could certainly use a bigger sheet of paper and do it that way. If you own your own home and you have a wall that's empty, maybe this is an activity that you could do while everybody's together, and to create a larger tree of strength on a wall that's not being used right now. You could do it using chalk, so that you could easily just wash it off, or you could do it using paints, so it becomes a permanent representation of what you all went through and how you made it through this coronavirus challenge, or any other challenge that you might possibly be experiencing at this point. So that is everything that I wanted to share with you about this particular activity. I would love for you to share your completed activity, a picture of it, in the comment section below, and see if there's anything. If there are any other topics that you would like for me to do activities on, please let me know, and I will certainly go and create the videos for that, or I will come live and I will discuss those particular topics live with you. So it doesn't necessarily have to be about art. It could be about different herbs that I've used, could be about different essential oil blends that I've used, or different modalities that I've worked with in order to heal myself from autoimmunity. So please go ahead and just share those completed activities with me in the comment section below. If you're just coming in, hi, I see that Mohammed is on. It's good to see you. So go ahead and you can just watch the replay, because this is going to be shared in just a few minutes, and you can certainly go on and do that activity. And please share your completed activity with us. It also helps for other members of the community to see what how everybody else is doing through this challenging time as well. And this is just a way for everyone to connect. I will see you all tomorrow for day 14, and if you are looking for previous days, just simply look up the hashtag Create with Gina, and then you can look for days 1 through 12 or any others that are coming up in the near future. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Bye.